It is so freeing to be vulnerable. I like the concept of us being created for relationship with one another
Yeah.
is only possible through vulnerability.
Mary Azar, welcome to Fulfillment Project. How you doing today?
I'm good, Andy. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. It's a joy to have you. So I'm going to read a little intro for you to give the audience a little idea. Here's my Big B Red Bull. I'm starting this thing where I'm calling them non-promotion promotions, where I just talk about things I love. And then one day when I monetize, I'm going to be like, yo, Big B, shoot me some cash.
Yeah, I love that.
They do these Red Bull drinks. So good. All right. So, Mary, you're a licensed social worker. You hold a master's in social work from the University of Michigan and a bachelor's in business finance from Miami University.
Yep.
You practice at Cornerstone Counseling with an office in Maumee, Ohio, and you collaborate with your clients to foster growth, healing, and personal goals while creating space for faith and spirituality to play a role in the process, which is a unique little twist. I can't wait to get into that. Your approach emphasizes compassionate, client-centered therapy, making her a great fit for fulfillment, because that's what I want to talk about. And one thing I love about you is you see a lot of different people. So like when I was in the finance world, you just see so many multimillionaires, and some of them you really admire the way they manage their money. And other ones you're like, ooh, I do it differently. Same for you with therapy. It's like you see the way a lot of different people handle different situations. And I'm stoked to have you on today to talk us through some of these. So first, pull the microphone closer to your mouth. And second, tell me a business degree from Miami.
Yep.
But then what happened with the transition to Michigan and doing your social work degree?
Yeah, it was a process. I will say a million times to you and to my clients and to anyone I come across, like, I think that God has a plan for us. And I think that when we say yes, it unfolds the way it should.
Yeah.
So I worked in finance for like 11 years. I traded commodities right out of school. I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. When I was in college, I interned and I was on the floor.
Yeah.
At the Chicago Board of Trade. Just crazy. It was everything you see in the movies and more.
Like buy, sell, all the energy and
Madness, energy, craziness. I mean, you worked from like 7 to 2. So then it was just like this mad, crazy life that everyone was living.
So high energy, perfect for a young person right out of college.
Yeah. And I was maybe one of 5 girls on the floor. So it was just fun. And I loved I've got 4 brothers. I loved being around the boys and the chaos and all that. So that was really great. And then right when I graduated though and started working, that was like the transition to screens. And so then I was sitting behind a desk all day and it wasn't as much fun.
Do you remember the year that change happened?
I mean, I graduated I'm not even going to say that out loud.
No, say it and then I'll ask you your weight.
It was between I think the transition started between 2007, 8 and 2010, 11. And then there was an options pit for a while, but that was the last standing part
So
of it.
no more face-to-face interaction, screaming.
Yeah.
Just all hit a button on the computer.
Yeah. And
boring.
So boring. And a lot of the traders, they're still on the phone all day and all that, but still not the same thing. So, but it was fun. It was still just kind of this high energy career. And I knew a lot of people. So it felt like for as much money was thrown around, it still felt very small and family-like.
Yeah.
And I just worked with really great people. I mean, just a lot of down-to-earth guys, farmers that were so willing to just educate me on things I needed to know.
Right. So farmers, educate the audience on what a commodity is. What were you actually trading?
So our company primarily traded corn, wheat, and soybeans. And I somehow got into trading soybean oil, rice, oats, small things like that nobody else really wanted to dabble in. So I did that on the side, but then I also managed our inventory financing program. So we had $500 million from a bank to finance our inventories. And so
you're going to farmers and buying stuff, storing it, and then selling it to the market.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I was, trading around that, which was really fun. It was really stressful. It was really stressful. And I walked in one day and I had a $90 million bill on my desk that I was not prepared for.
The highest bill I've ever seen is a $100 bill. To see a $90 million bill.
And I was like, that was a lot. The stress of that. So it was this.
Wait, what does that mean? What is it? What's a
like a
$90 million
bill I had to pay for $90 million.
Wow. Well, at least you had a $500 million in financing.
Right. Yeah. I just had to talk people into giving me some of that.
Oh my gosh, Mary.
So it was this balance of like fun and energy with a lot of stress. And over the course of time, I start realizing this is fun, but this is not what I love. This is not what I meant, what I am meant to be doing. But I'll backtrack real quick. And when I started school at Miami when I was a freshman, I was a social work major.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I had multiple people who shall not be named tell me that was not a good choice. You won't make any money. You're too smart for that, blah, blah, blah. So 12 years later, I'm going back to school to get my social work degree.
Get out of here. So despite the excitement and energy of the trading floor, trading commodities in Chicago, would you say you were fulfilled? Did you have the presence of mind to even think like that? Or was life moving so fast where you weren't really thinking about purpose at that point?
I wasn't at first, but that was it. When I started thinking about, am I fulfilled? I realized so deeply the answer is no.
Interesting.
And so deeply that like, I am not motivated by money, which is what you have to be to work in business. Even if you're a good person, right? You have to be there to make money, to build something. And that's not where my spirit is. That's not what fulfills me. And so I realized that. But
so
then,
sexy career, money, excitement. And then as you settle into that, you were there for 11 years. You settle in and you're like, there's an empty spot in my heart I need to fill.
Yeah, so much emptiness because I saw so many people around me really flourishing and they loved it. And I just I wasn't unhappy, but I didn't want to go to work. And I didn't, it wasn't when I left work, I wanted to leave work. And I felt like there had to be something more. I had more to give, right?
Yeah. Well, and a great call out for the audience, like, the same job can be great for someone and horrible for someone else. It's not good or bad, equally the same. So long as it's a moral job, it could be great for anybody or bad for anybody, which is an interesting distinction.
Yeah. And I say this a lot, Andy. I work with a lot of couples.
Yeah.
And and there's like this battle when you're in a relationship of like, I want things my way, you want things your way, right? Like, why can't you be more like me?
Yeah.
And I say all the time, we are so lucky that God made us all different. We can't all be finance people. We can't all be social workers.
Whoa.
The world wouldn't turn.
Ain't that the truth?
Because it's like we want people to agree with us, right? We want to prove our point or have things done our way. And that's not, God was really smart. He had a good plan.
Well, and that's the beauty of a capitalist society like we get to live in, where there are so many pieces and fragments of the market that need humans.
Yeah.
And I just did an episode on purpose versus task and identifying the purpose of what you do, because the economy needs so much. And if you're not fulfilled where you are, there is a place in the world for you, a place in your city for you. And you have to try and plug in to that to get filled up. So you're not fulfilled. You go back to University of Michigan, go Blue, for what was your degree in?
Social work. A master's in social work. Yeah.
And are you married at this point? What's your life situation?
Yeah, I had a child. I had 3 kids. So at this point I was working more part-time, and it was one of those things where I kept just, I was praying about it and I wanted to do something else. And we moved to Ann Arbor and they have the top social work program in the country, or one of them. And so I was like, I'm just going to apply. Right. And if I don't get in, it's not meant to be. Right. I did a lot of research on a lot of different schools. So this was a very thoughtful process, but I didn't know if it was the right thing to do. So I was just going to apply to what was in front of me, and I got in. And so I was like, this is it. This is meant to be. But it wasn't without bumps along the way. I got pregnant when I was in the program.
Yikes. Okay. I mean, amazing, but also
amazing,
like, wow.
But also yikes. I couldn't get out of bed for 6 weeks, like trying to like Zoom into my classes. It was Neither here nor there, but it was a process. I did it part-time, so it took me 2.5 years.
Well, it's
And
just a classic example of like when you picture yourself in the future, all the good things in the future, you never picture yourself at that beautiful place having to pee or like being hungry or like you're picturing a social work getting your degree but you're not
yeah,
expecting being sick, pregnant, in bed, zooming in.
yeah,
Like we never, whenever we dream about the future, we never think about the reality of life slamming us in the
yeah.
side of the face. So that's just, I
It's
love the picture you
yeah,
painted.
especially the like in the process of getting there.
Yeah.
So but it was really cool. I mean, I graduated and one of the most special days in my life. So all of my in town and even like near out of town people came to my graduation. It was
No
like brought me
way.
to tears. It was so cool. And I had, I had 4 kids at the time. 3 of them were there. It was just like it was and I mean, it was the thing that I had worked the hardest for in my life for sure. But also I have to give props to Steve because every night from 6 to 8 that I was on class or on screen for my classes, he was with our kids.
An amazing man, an amazing husband, dear
Amazing man.
friend of mine. Shout out Steve. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So he works, he comes home from a
Yeah.
full day and he's holding it down so
Hmm.
you can go back to school.
Yeah. So it was a
Amazing.
lot.
Chasing your dreams, but also like there's side effects to that and
Right.
the reality of it. And it's never as pretty or as easy as it seems from the outside. Like everyone's got their story
Right.
and struggle. And so many people allow the hard parts to put them back, the
Yeah.
logistics. And
And I
it's
mean,
like,
Andy, that's a big part of it because, I say I just kind of put this in God's hand and I got into this program. So I had a feeling it was the right thing. Right. But like it wasn't easy.
yeah,
But it also wasn't like I didn't know that I was going to get this degree and love my job. Like that was always a risk that I graduated and just didn't like another job.
yeah.
And I got a lot of crap for that along the way.
Well, school ain't cheap,
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well, I hope there's an ROI on this degree here. Holy smokes.
And even though I do work and I do love my job, that ROI is pretty low.
Well, social work, I mean, it's a side effect.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a whole nother topic I was thinking is should we scale degrees based on income post degree?
Probably. Yeah.
But okay, so now you're a social worker. How long have
Mhm.
you been practicing? Would you call
Um,
yourself a social worker? I never know whether to call you a social worker or a therapist or
yeah,
both and.
both and. I think you can just do so many things with a social work degree.
Yeah.
So while yes, I'm a social worker, I'm a licensed social worker. I think, I I'm not technically a counselor, but that is the kind of the term that resonates the most with people. If
Yeah.
I say therapist, they're like, what, like physical therapist? So
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
say
yeah,
like
yeah.
I do child and family therapy, but there's a lot of titles. Let's see. I've been practicing licensed for just over 2 years, but then it was at least a year and a half that I was working when I was still in my internship.
Oh, of course,
So
of course.
probably three and a half, 4 years.
So you're a mom of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Does that influence your work at all in the clinic?
100%.
How so?
In every way. I think parenting, as you know, influences everything in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can relate to clients a lot. Whether it's kids, I feel like I know them a little better because I have kids relatively the same age, except for
Yeah.
the teenagers I work with. If it's parents, even when I see people as couples, like they have a family, they have kids,
Yeah.
they have, or I've been so blessed to work with some older people and who are grandparents or great grandparents. And I'm like, I need to be in your office right now for all of your
Yeah,
life
like
lessons.
I'll give you some.
I
You
have
give me a little bit
I have
back.
nothing to teach you, nothing to work with you on. But everybody's got something on one side or the other. And I just feel like the ability to relate to that, which goes back to my whole thing about like this was God's plan. I couldn't be doing this work if I didn't have all the life experiences I had before. I
Mm,
just can't imagine. And there are a lot of younger therapists that are so wonderful at what they do.
yeah.
For me personally, I would not be able to do what I do without my experience, like just my life experience
Why
that
do you
I've
think
grown.
that's the case?
Just because I feel like I've done a lot, and I feel like I can relate to people a little bit more, which makes me a little bit more empathetic and also able to kind of read people and understand kind of what they want, based on little information, which is what you work with when I get a new client.
Yeah. And I guess nothing against a younger person. You always have to start somewhere. But like, if I'm getting counsel about my life, I want someone talking to me who's lived a little life.
Right. Yeah.
It's like kind of makes sense.
But everybody comes to therapy for different things. So again, like there are some people that are more focused maybe clinically than I am on different modalities and things like that. And they do a fabulous job with that. So
modalities, like models of what's that? What do you mean?
CBT, DBT. There's lots of different. Sorry, just
break down these acronyms for me.
Cognitive behavioral therapy is probably the most famous, the most talked about, and that is, I'd say I use that always. But with anything like that, you can get certified in. You can go to lots of training in, and I like to pull from a lot of different things.
Yeah, you do something called fearless parenting. What's that? Why do you do that?
So in my internship, I had to lead a group. So I had to create a group, like a curriculum. And most groups just through insurance or whatever are 8 weeks. So I'm in school, I'm creating this curriculum. It can be anything I want. And I'm like, well, I'm a parent and I work with a lot of parents. And so I'm going to create a parenting group. So it was 8 weeks. Just kind of the basics of parenting. We talked a lot about parenting styles, discipline, just, kind of 8 separate weeks of what I would consider like the main topics that any parent's going to want to learn about.
Whoa. So when people joke about like the parenting handbook, this is kind of that.
It is. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, Andy. I put a lot of work and effort into this.
Oh, I believe it.
So I did.
And a mom of 4, you've done some parenting in your day.
And then it kind of, as I'm researching this kind of became a passion of mine. So all the books I was reading, all the podcasts I was listening to, and I felt like I'm really starting to know this and like get a handle on this. And so I did my group and it was awesome. And it went really well. And I had good retention. And my boss was like, why don't you do it again? And so I did it, I think 3 or 4 times when I was at my old company in various forms. And then I wound up just doing kind of an online drop-in session with parents, which I also really loved. And then I got approached by a family director at one of the churches in town. And she was like, can you do like a Christian parenting group? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So kind of revamped this, and that turned into Fearless Parenting. And again, I love it because I love when I can bring my faith into this, because I will tell anyone that walks into my office that's willing to listen, I can get you so far, and then he's got to get you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Right? Like we as humans can only do so much. And I really believe that. So I loved the ability or the opportunity to take all of this knowledge that I have, this handbook of parenting, and then couple that with, well, how do I be a better Christian, and how do I bring the faith life into my family? And that's kind of what that turned out to be.
Everyone, hey, if you haven't already gone over to my Substack and signed up for a free or premium membership, why don't you go do that right now? There's so much stuff. Every Monday morning, you get the newest, latest episode, either a long form or a monologue on a big topic by me. Every Wednesday, you get the self-reflection guide, all my notes, all my memos, and so much more. And by signing up, you will get my free book emailed to you in PDF form right now. Thank you so much.
We were at my kids' cross-country practice, and we just go walk with them. And I was walking in silence, which you never get. And this is why silence is the key to so many things. Because I was just like, I have all of this information. I read all these books. I listen to all these podcasts. I talk to people. I ask a lot of questions. Like I love learning. And there's almost always a couple takeaways that I get that I'm like, everyone would be better if they just knew these few things.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to fill all my silence with podcasts like I used to, but I do love to. And so that's kind of how, like, the roundabout way of telling you how the newsletter came about, because I was like, I just want to throw out, 5 to 10 things every month that's really bite-sized for people that I just feel like is important and good to know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well,
That's it.
and for the audience, I'll figure out how you can get signed up on this thing. It'll be in the show notes below. So you
I
can
can get
just
you a
click on
link.
that.
Yes.
Perfect. We'll get a link. We'll get a link in the show notes. And you got to do your fearless parenting. That's got to be an ebook. I just did my first
Yeah.
ebook and it was pretty daunting. It took a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, now that I've done it, I can help you. And it could help so many people. And it's like not the full thing. Of course, you do an 8-week course. That's a
Right.
lot more in depth, but it's
Yeah.
like at least it'll give people nuggets to get started. What's like some of your top takeaways for parents out of fearless parenting?
Okay, well, it's parenting with power, love, and self-control.
Power, love,
love,
self-control. What do you mean by power?
Well, it's funny in that I always start with love. We do love and self-control because I feel like without those, parenting becomes a power struggle. It's I'm in charge. How many of us have heard because I said so? Because I said so. And how many times do I say that to my kids a day? Too many, but I know better. And it's this idea that we have to parent out of love, right? We have to be, which is willing the good of the other. We have to be willing to let go of our expectations for ourselves and our kids and what we want our house to look like and how we want our kids to behave and what we think our kids are going to like or what they're, just how they're going to behave. And we have to parent out of love. And then the self-control part that's one of my favorite topics to talk about with parents or just with clients in general, because it's like everything is a matter of self-control.
Self-control is a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, I practice so hard on self-control. We are so weak. I fast once a week because I'm a slave to food.
Yeah.
I do the cold plunge because I'm a slave to comfort. I start every shower with cold water because I'm a slave to comfort.
Yeah.
It's like I don't speak when I want to speak because I'm a slave to hearing myself speak. It's like self-discipline is so hard.
It's so hard. And it's, I call it our mental muscle. I talk about that with my clients all the time because
that's a great way to frame it, a mental muscle. Because it is,
you
you
have
need
to
to exercise.
Yeah. And I love that, I love a good sauna, cold plunge, all those things. Great for us physically. But when you can tie in that like spirituality, emotional aspect to it, I think that it gives it so much more meaning. It's so important to do that, right? Like I'm not just doing this because it's good for my body. I'm doing this because it's helping me to do something that feels really hard. It's helping me to do something that's uncomfortable, but I know is good for me. And that's kind of like the whole premise of all of this. We have to learn to say no. We have to learn to be uncomfortable. And especially
learn to say no, learn to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If I wrote a book, one of my books will be called Saying No.
Yeah.
It creates so much space in your life to say yes to the things you want to say yes to.
Yeah.
Too many people are scared of saying no. And why is that? Why do people say yes when they want to say no?
Oh, because it's easier. Because too many people want to come in and everybody falls under this like people pleasing category. And I'm like, you're actually not. It's actually really selfish because I do it too, right? When I say yes to things, it's because I'm too scared to say no, or because I feel guilty about saying no, or whatever the case may be. I'm kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm just going to get too busy. Something always has to give.
I wonder if that's one of the keys of people being busier than ever before and doing less meaningful things than ever before. You ask anybody, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I'm so busy. It's like, doing what?
I don't know.
Rarely, I don't know. I'm picking up the kids a lot. I'm going to work a lot at a job I hate. I'm shopping all the time for things. I couldn't tell you what showed up on the porch yesterday. It's like, say no, free yourself, create space. You were talking about silence earlier.
Yeah.
Huge. Silence is masterful. I just put out a post last week of turn the radio off, turn the podcast off on your next ride and say, the purpose of my job is to blank. And like repeat that like a mantra over and over and keep refining what the purpose of your work is. Because so many people do things they think are boring. They think they're just another cog in the wheel. But what if your cog didn't exist? Then what would the downstream effects be?
Yeah.
It'd be so like an electrician was over my house the other day, wiring up my house. And I said, thank you. You're giving my kids heat. You're giving my family food because everything's plugged into electricity. You are creating an atmosphere where I can raise my family in a warm home. Thank you. And he's like, whoa, I never thought of it that way before. And I think there's a lot of people that don't give credit to the work they're doing every day because they never think about the purpose of their work. What
Yeah.
is the effect of what I'm doing? And so silence creates space for that. If we're always, and like I do it too, like I constantly am pumping my brain full of stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening to books all the time on 1.5 speed, podcasts the same, and music. And it's like silence and just think,
Yeah.
like put good prompts in your brain. If it's not that prompt, there's a lot of good prompts
Right.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
And just think about it. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask somebody nowadays, but like
I know.
just think in silence for
Yeah.
a little bit and then maybe a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one thing that when you were talking about kind of like the meaning of your job, no matter what you do, that's also something that I love so much because it's your mindset on things. And so much of life, we are down or we're stressed or we're anxious or whatever. And it's your mindset, right? If you're busy and you're driving your kids all around because they love sports and you're doing it for all the right reasons, but you're still miserable, you can change that mindset, right? It's these people that these moms that spend hours in the car every day. Are you getting from point A to point B, or can you make meaning in that? I think it's being able to create meaning out of everything you're supposed to do. And I just read a book and she talked about this so much. It's called The Liturgy of the Ordinary. She talked about this so much in the book, obviously, of like making meaning of
Yeah.
everything, praying while you're doing laundry or offering up the 1,000th time you've unloaded the dishwasher or clean up the milk off the floor or vacuumed or whatever. And I just think that the ability to make meaning out of the mundane. And my prayer is always like, as I'm folding laundry, like, sanctify me through this work. Like, make me holy through these things that seem so unnecessary, but are so necessary. Because a lot of times, especially as a mom and anyone with young kids, um, there's work that you have to do, right? Like, I am busy. You are busy because you're working and then you're going home and you're changing diapers and you're cleaning up messes and you're doing these things and you can't say no to it.
Yeah. It's
It's
happening.
it's happening, right? And the consequence of saying no to that is way worse. But so it's shifting your mindset so that whatever you're doing, no matter how big or small, is meaningful.
You said sanctify the mundane. Those are some words some of the audience might not be familiar with. What do you mean sanctify?
Sanctify means to make holy.
What does
And I
that mean?
love just make make this okay, mundane is like boring, right?
Yeah.
Just
Like the
like
crap we do every day.
everyday things you have to do. Help me to make this a work of God. Help me to make this something that is meaningful and purposeful, no matter what it is.
Like some have heard the term, we are the body of Christ. So,
Yeah.
in a way, if we are the body, then we are his hands and his feet,
Yes.
his eyes and his
Yeah.
ears. So, even though I'm folding this laundry, let it be, finish that sentence. Let it be what?
Let it be for your will, for your goodness that you're creating. God made us, so he knows that we need to, brush teeth and clip toenails and do these things.
Yeah.
And they can be just another thing on the checklist, or they can be part of his work, part of his creation, and fostering that like beautiful mindset of this is meaningful.
Yeah. So, we were talking a second ago about your job in Chicago when you were trading
Mhm.
commodities. And like some people loved that and some people hated
Yeah.
that. I think that is true. I
Mhm.
also think what could be true is you can be in a situation where you can mentally be disengaged and hate it.
Mhm.
And with practice and what'd you call it? Mental
Your
exercise?
mental muscle.
Mental muscle.
Yeah.
With your mental muscle through exercise, you can actually reframe what you're doing and enjoy the same thing you're doing.
Mhm.
Like if you didn't have the freedom to get out of that job for whatever
Mhm.
reason, I believe that you could have made it better than it was.
Yeah.
Some jobs are really tough.
Mhm.
Like my first job out of college, I lovingly refer to it as the sweatshop. I sold wine. Every bottle of wine I sold, I put that baby on the shelf 6 days a week.
Uh-huh.
It was grueling
Yeah.
and I hated it.
Mhm.
But through a lot of reading and a lot of spiritual work, I made the best of it.
Mhm.
So I embraced it,
Yeah.
so to say. And I think for parents, or I wonder if for parents, and I'm one, so I know this to be true for my life.
Mhm.
There are things I do, like changing diapers, thousands of diapers over the years.
Mhm.
And if I don't change that diaper, my son will get a rash. If my son gets a rash, he'll be in pain. I don't want my son to be in pain. I want to protect and provide for my son. Therefore, I'm going to change this diaper right now. A
Mhm.
couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, I was being lazy. And I knew I had to change the diaper, but I kept thinking like, oh, just a little longer. Maybe I was watching the game, having a beer or something. And I was like, at the next commercial, or like when I finish this beer, ended up crawling up his back. So by the time I got to change him, there was poop everywhere. And I thought, this is such a lesson of why you
Mhm.
do it when it needs to be done
Yeah.
and don't wait.
Mhm.
And I couldn't believe the example just slapped me across the face like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
So you were going to pivot, but I just wanted to stay there because I do believe you or me could be folding laundry or dish towels or whatever. And it could be horrible torture.
Mhm.
And with some work, some reflection, that same task next week could be something that fills you up, is peaceful, and brings joy to your life.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, also something that I don't know if you heard growing up, but I always heard offer it up,
Oh,
right?
oh, if I heard it once, I heard it 1,000 times. If I had a penny for every
Thanks,
time I heard that, I'd
thanks,
be a rich
mom.
man.
But
Offer it up.
it's kind of that concept though, right? As much as I hated hearing it as like a teenager, I love it now.
Yeah.
Because again, I just think making meaning out of everything is so important. There's just things you have to get done. And that's the concept of acceptance is really big in therapy. Of like you in your circle of control, right? You can control yourself and your actions and your thought process and all of those things. Can't control other people. You can't always control your circumstances. You can't control the little things that you have to do every day. So you can choose to accept it and make meaning of it and offer it up, and or you can, you can get depressed about it, or you can get anxious about it, or you can get angry about it. So that's kind of a
Do you have little mental models or little tricks of the trade that you tell your people? Because I'm sure this is a common occurrence. You work with people all the time.
I'd say the thing that any of my clients will tell you I say the most is do the hard thing.
What does that mean?
It just life's hard. Do the hard thing. 'Cause
First or last or in the
always,
middle?
always. Because so much of what creates anxiety, and there can always be like hormonal challenges or shifts in your brain, things like
Yeah.
that cause these things for sure. Most of the cases that I see is just our anxiety and stressors that we create on our own. Because again, we're trying to fight this battle. We're trying to like resist all of these things that we just can't change. And so, like, you just have to do the hard thing. You have to get out of bed in the morning. You've got to move your body. You've got to get out. It's freezing. You got to go outside. You've got to stop eating junk food. Like, you have to have a conversation with your spouse. You have to clean up after your kids and not scream at them. Just and I think something that I love so much that is also a big part of my my parenting curriculum, which is not a concept of mine. Dr. Becky, who I love as a parenting mentor, and then the Gottmans, who are fantastic couples therapists. They kind of coined this term, but it's the idea of repair, right? When you make a mistake, apologize and fix it. And that is so hard for people. Be
Whoa.
like,
Both parts. That's a two-part
it
equation right
is.
there.
And so my kids, they do 3-part apologies. I'm sorry for, I will try my best not to do it again. And as they get older, they are now explaining, what are you going to do not to do, like to make sure you don't do this again? It's part of
Yeah.
that second part. What can I do to make it better? That's how my kids apologize.
Whoa. So give me a recent example of something like a kid throws food off their plate.
Right, yeah.
What would they say?
So my sweet loving son, who is the happiest, most joyful boy in the world, will just walk by his sisters and slap him upside the head. Just right because he's a little boy and he has too much energy.
because it's so relatable. Kids just do the craziest things.
He is. He's so sweet. And I'm like, why did you do that? He's like, I don't know. I didn't mean to. And I'm like, okay, go make it right. Right. So he'll say, Violet, I'm sorry that I hit you on the head. I will try my best not to do that again. What can I do to make it better? If I'm with them, I'll try my best not to do it again, because next time I will slow down my body so that I can think before I act. We're working on that a lot because I know as an adult, I need that.
Yeah.
So, and then what can I do to make it better?
I love that though, because that gives her an opportunity to say, like, you'd help me clean up this room. And like,
Exactly.
it's like, yeah, you broke the window. You're sorry. Now you got to repair the window. Like the
Right.
window's broken.
And I think
Whoa.
so many people want to say, I'm sorry, because that might make them feel better, right? But an apology should leave the person who's hurt feeling better. I really believe that.
And you said something a couple minutes ago about we create battles for ourselves. And it was an epiphany for me. So much of what I struggle with, if I just embraced it by doing the hard thing,
Hmm.
it it's not a battle anymore.
Right?
Like getting out of bed without hitting snooze.
Yeah.
Doing the hard thing at work, like we all have that one task every day that's like,
Yeah.
oh. And I'm working on creating a journal right now. My listeners know because
Hmm.
I've got a beta group going and we're like working on it together. But one tab every day is the one thing based on a book I read called The One Thing. And it's all about identifying the one thing that's going to move the needle today.
Yeah.
And it's almost always the thing you don't want to do.
Hmm.
And once you do that, it's crazy how time gets added to your day
Yeah.
because you do so much wasteful stuff avoiding
to avoid
doing
it.
that. Like you've got to do the one thing. All of a sudden, I've got to clean my room. I've got to vacuum out my car. I've got to clean my windows. I've got all this ancillary, esoteric BS.
Yeah.
Just to avoid
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
And it's like if you do that, all of a sudden the rest of your day feels like it's wide open. I can do anything.
Yep.
And you prioritize things a lot better when you do the hardest thing first.
Yeah.
First things first. Second things happen.
Yeah.
Second things first. First things get forgotten. Whoa.
And that's kind of that was like the premise of my newsletter. It's called The Little Things because of all of the things I blabber on about, of all the things I read, nothing comes to fruition if you don't put one foot in front of the other. If you don't decide 1,000 times a day to make the next right choice, to do
Yeah.
the next right thing. And it's always just like put the pen down and write, make the phone call, check the thing off your to-do list. And you don't get the whole thing done. You do one little thing at a time. It's one word at a time. It's
Yep.
one step at a time. And I am such a big believer in that because we all want to be fulfilled. We all want to make changes in our lives. We all want to get somewhere.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, be a better parent, whatever it might be, get better at pickleball or be able to sit in a cold plunge for 3 minutes. You don't do the whole thing at a time. You put your toe in, like
Yep.
you got, and so that's the idea of it is that with every change you want to make, it's got to be one little thing at a time.
Yeah. I love that. And that's coming, at least from my perspective, from a person who fails all the time, which is why I'm such a big fan of it, is because it takes so long to make big changes or even little changes. Is because like, I think I know where I want to go, but then I start. And then as you start working and iterating through the process, it's like, oh, the end destination is actually totally different now that I'm in it.
Yeah.
But had I not gotten in it, I would have always had this false sense of where I want to go.
Right.
And wow, I fail a lot.
Yeah. And this is so funny. I got in the car to drive over here and Steve's podcast was playing.
Yeah.
And it was a business podcast. And the guy literally was talking about how they're getting they're entrepreneurs looking for investors. And they want investors that have the mindset of failure is so fun.
Yeah.
Because you learn so much from it. And it sucks. But if you succeed at everything, then you're going to keep doing that same thing.
Yeah.
Right? You need to fail to get creative and to also to recognize that you have the resilience to keep going.
Oh, if you can play a game with yourself and look for failure, look for the no, it changes your whole paradigm.
Mhm.
Like the least favorite part of my job is cold calling.
Mhm.
And so I play a game and it's totally manufactured in my head, but it makes a big difference. I tried to get 5 no's as quickly as possible. And like when I get that, I can take a bathroom break or get a protein bar or refill my waters, but I am not moving off my desk until I get 5 no's.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it changes my whole paradigm
Mhm.
of, oh gosh, I don't want them to reject me again.
Yeah.
It's like, no, here we go.
Your mindset.
Yeah.
And do the hard thing. Like
Yes.
that's it.
But mindset, again, requires silence. It requires reflection. It's one reason I think journaling has changed my life is because
Yeah.
it gives me a space to slow down my think. I can only write so fast.
Mhm.
And so it forces me to think about each word, how it connects to the next word, sentence to sentence, paragraph to paragraph.
Mhm.
And it's like, wow, that's time well spent for me that otherwise would be filled with noise.
Yeah.
I read a book once, Cardinal Seurat, about silence, and he talks about not only silence in the ears, but silence of the eyes. Like there's so much noise of the stuff we're looking at, silence of the mind. Our mind is always racing,
Mhm.
silence of the heart, like not being angry or like emotional, but just silence. And when I was reading this book, I was trying to put it into practice. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night when it was like dark outside. So
Mhm.
it wasn't bright for my eyes and it
Mhm.
was silent because it's the middle of the night. But I found like my mind was racing and my heart was like emotional because it'd get connected to the brain about whatever I was thinking.
Mhm.
And silence is an art form.
Mhm.
And like so many people have the art of stuff, but like the art
Yeah.
of silence is something worth pursuing, I think.
Yeah. Because in that space, you can like you have to process. Like you said, there's so much coming at us all day, and we don't process it. We don't take the time to think about it, right? Like I keep glancing up at these pictures, and I will never like fully stop and look at them, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much of that all day, every day, and and so we can keep ourselves distracted. It's just this form of
That's the
distraction.
beauty of a child, though. I think I read in one of my parenting books. We as adults encode things. So you looked at that picture, you encode it as a picture in a frame, and you don't see it because you have organized it in order to keep your mind from exploding.
Yeah.
You've encoded it, you label it, it's there.
Yep.
But as kids, I'll never forget my first fall with our first son.
Hmm.
And he was looking at a leaf and he just could not get over the wonder of the leaf. And I'm thinking, you are in a sea of leaves. There are leaves everywhere. But it was like, and it just reminded me to see things.
Yeah.
And that's another good practice.
Yeah.
I practice from time to time. And for the audience, it's like, look around.
Hmm.
Like, set a stopwatch on your Apple Watch, Android, if you're so sorrowful to have to use one of those, where like 1 minute, 60 seconds, and
Yeah.
just look around
Yeah.
and notice things. Things are going on all the time. Uh,
Timers are my favorite thing. I love them for kids. I love them for myself
How do
because
you
it's like,
use them?
um, silence.
Yeah.
I've been doing the Hallow Advent Pray
Yeah.
25, and at the end of every session, there's always a few minutes of just like silence, and so um, it's that same concept of that. Like I'll set a 5-minute timer and close my eyes. And I'm so bad at this, right? It's some like I'm not saying like this is an easy thing. It's so hard. Every
Oh my
day
God.
I have something better to do. I've got to pack lunches. I've got to do something, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the days that I do this, like you said, the rest of my day slows down. It is unbelievable. I mean, like I take 3, 5, 10 minutes, whatever, to just lay on my back, close my eyes when I've got nothing going on,
Mm-hmm.
to just be,
Mm.
and the rest of my day makes so much more sense. The rest of my day slows down. So I use that. I mean, I tell people like if you need I love this idea for if you're feeling really sad or upset about something, set a timer. Set
Yeah.
a timer to be really sad, to be really angry, to like feel your big feelings, and then when it goes off, you get back to real life, right? Because I think that's something that is really hard is like I want to feel these things, but how do I not spiral into that? And I think as adults, we have to work on that, especially as parents. We have to be able to model that for our kids. And that'll circle back to like the repair idea that I talked about in my parenting program of like life comes at us fast and you've got to be able to how often at times do I just act in the worst way possible around my kids? I've got to be able to apologize and I've got to be able to make it right. I've got to be able to accept that like I said no to this because it I didn't want to deal with the mess or I didn't want to deal with the noise. And I need to be able to explain that to my kids. I said no to you because I was being selfish and fearful. Sure, you can go play this. You can go run around outside in the mud because that's good for you. You can do this, and I'm going to deal with myself.
Yeah. You've got to model it. How can you expect
Yeah,
them to do it if you don't show them?
totally. And anyway, so back to timers. It's like I use them for kids too, right?
Yeah.
Like 5-minute timer to do this. You've got 5 minutes to get dressed and get in bed. You've got 5 more minutes to play. I don't know. Timers on phones are like my favorite thing about technology.
It's my favorite aspect of my watch. And I
Yeah.
might be a little hyper on the timer,
Mhm.
but like when I have my task list at the beginning of the day, and I stole this from the intelligent change planner I used for ever.
Mhm.
and and you write your task down and then how many 15-minute increments will it take me to achieve that? So I predict how
Okay.
long it'll take And then as I start working on that task, I just 15-minute timer, reset, reset,
Mhm.
reset. And I fill in the bubble every time I do it to track my time of how long it actually takes me.
Mhm.
And it's so amazing staying on task, single mind. We were
Yeah.
not meant for multitasking.
Yeah.
Multitasking is a total hoax.
Right.
And it's funny, there was a time in history when people bragged. Do you remember when everyone bragged about multitasking, how
Yes.
great they were at it?
Yeah.
And then the research came out so strongly that the brain actually can't
Right.
multitask. It's so inefficient.
I know.
But it's hard because, like you said, the world's coming at us so fast.
Mhm.
And it's, again, a mental muscle to exercise, practicing the discipline of timing. I'm going
Mhm.
to work on this for this long.
Yeah.
Now,
Staying focused.
it's easy for me because I have a beautiful office that's quiet.
Mhm.
I'm picturing my wife's words right now. And in someone else's life, like my wife, you're in the middle of a task and a kid comes up to you. You're in the middle of
Mhm.
a task and things happen outside of your control. If you're in an office setting, someone walks up to your desk. What do you think about that? How do you manage that in a timer situation?
I mean, that it depends what it is, right? Because if it really is your kids, like, I feel like I have diagnosable ADHD
Yeah,
just from being a mom. Because I cannot do any unless it's nap time, I can't do anything for more than 1 minute without someone crying, someone hurting themselves, someone, like, Izzy's like, "Mom, I just got a knife." I'm like, "No."
yeah,
Right? So that's that I'll go back to the idea of acceptance, right? Of I want to live my life on timers. This is not meant for me right now.
yeah,
And so I think it's that, right? Like when you're working, it's really good and beneficial for you to be on these timers. And then when you check in as a dad, that's got to be really hard. It's got to be really hard to transition out of this life of like, I have full control over this into the total chaos.
totally. Totally. And I don't know how other people do it, but I just get home and I get on my hands and knees and I'm just there because I have so
Yeah.
little time
Hmm.
and I have two boys. So they are all energy all
Yeah.
the time. And I just, the whole night on my hands and knees, I take the boys up to bed
Hmm.
as a horse. They're riding my back. And then I put them to bed laying down. And then finally I feel like I get to become an adult again
Yeah.
when they're sleeping and I like
Right.
stand back up on my 2 feet. I don't, because it's so different from what I do during the day at
Right.
work, efficiency, production, and working with adults who are mostly easier to work with.
Yeah.
And so I find for me, it's just easier to switch the
Just jump in
flip
with
the
two
switch
feet.
totally and
Yeah.
just go,
I love
just
that.
be a totally different person.
Yeah. And there was something that you said earlier about the leaf,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my gosh.
And that's something I love so much is about kids. And I listened to a podcast, a parenting podcast, and this was one of my favorite just like slap in the face parenting things of kids are not meant to focus on us, right? They're not meant to be able to stick to a task.
Yeah.
Like, they are meant to discover the world around them. However it
Oh,
falls in front of their face.
yeah.
Right? Like, how often as a parent are you like, "How many times do I have to tell you go get your shoes on?" And I always joke, my kids are like, "Oh, like, look at this little crack on the floor," or "There's, like, pink marker on the wall," right? And I'm like, "Just get your shoes on."
Yeah.
And no, I have to step back and remind myself 1,000 times a day that that is their brain figuring out the world around them, and how incredible is
Mm.
that? And I, like you said, I could use that as a reminder to, like, notice the pink marker on the wall,
Yeah,
right?
and practically what I find for me, I'm horrible at time. I put travel in my calendar because I can't visualize time. Some people are really good at it,
Mhm,
but I find I am more patient when I'm not running late.
mhm,
And I try to do whatever it takes. For me, it's I wake up and I shower and I get ready
mhm.
so that I'm not rushing at the very end to shower and comb my hair and brush my teeth and get dressed and run out the door because then things get super frantic
Yeah,
and it happens more than I'd like
yep.
to say. But man, when we're not running late, it's so much easier to be patient.
I think that's so important, to manage time like that, and I'm the opposite of that, Andy. I'm late for everything.
So
As the shame hangs over my head,
well,
I'm late for everything.
so would I be if I wasn't so intentional about it
Right.
because I can't see it. I
Yeah.
can't see it.
I'm the opposite. I can see it, like, to a split second so that when there's, like, a red light that I wasn't anticipating, I'm 2 minutes late.
Oh my god. I filled in massive buffers. All right, lightning round, Mary Azar. This has
Yes,
been so good. Let's
I
just hammer out
know. Yeah.
some quick ones here.
Yeah.
What's the one misconception about vulnerability that you see holding most clients back from real healing?
Oh, just how underrated it is. It is so freeing to be vulnerable. I like the concept of us being created for relationship with one another
Yeah.
is only possible through vulnerability. And I just wish people could really grip onto the idea that like we are all such a work in progress. Everyone is working on things. Everyone is failing at things. As we talked about, failure is good. And we have so much to learn from one another. Like if people would just let their guards down and ask for help and live in this community, I think the beauty that lies in vulnerability is so underrated.
Couldn't agree more. Honestly, frankly, changed my life in college when I learned about it. I was
Mhm.
always trying to be perfect.
Mhm.
And then when I learned, oh my gosh, if I share a flaw, someone might relate to me.
Yeah.
Someone might help me through that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing growing
Yeah.
up. Um, all right, this is lightning round. Integrating your faith and spirituality into therapy.
Mhm.
Uh, when is that? When does it help and when does it become a hindrance?
Um, I've never seen it be a hindrance. Because like I said, I mean, maybe it would be a hindrance if somebody's not, if somebody doesn't have a strong faith life or they don't want it to be, right? Then there's plenty of, secular modalities that we can do or we can talk about that,
Yeah.
that's not, but, but when I can add that layer on, those are my most successful clients every single time. Just because God's going to do things that I can't do. He's going to heal in ways I can't heal. He's going to change hearts in ways that no human can change hearts.
What's one of the most profound things you've seen in your work?
When I see clients really overcome their challenges, it's most of the things I do are at the root of it. It's fear, it's anger, it's anxiety, and when I see people come to terms with that and do the hard thing and pull themselves out of a place, out of a bad place, that's God's work. It is so incredible. And it's again, I believe that he gives us the motivation, he gives us the hearts to change, but I see people who couldn't get out of bed, whose marriages were crumbling, and they do it. They show up and they have hard conversations and they pray and they work hard and they get out of bed earlier so that they can be more helpful around the house and they've turned their lives around. And
No way.
it's amazing. And it's because they didn't say no. It's because they said, "These are the circumstances I'm in, and these are the things I can control and the things I can't control, and this is what I'm gonna focus on, these things that I can control, and I'm gonna do better at them."
Last question. Are you
Mhm.
happy? And why or why not?
So happy
Why?
because my days are so full, Andy, because I because I feel fulfilled, and I remember sending something to you about this, about fulfillment reminds me so much of these concepts of resilience,
Yeah.
which is like mastery motivation, right? Working at getting good at something. I am working so hard at being a better wife, at being a better mom, at being a better therapist, at being a better Christian, and I'm actively working at those things every day, and so I think that's a really important thing, and then also competence. I feel like because I'm working hard at these things, I'm decently competent in a lot of them.
Yeah. You
I
see
have
progress.
Yes, exactly. Like I have so much room for growth still, but I've seen progress and that's an amazing thing. I've seen that hard work is worth it.
Mm,
And and yeah, that creates meaning, that creates fulfillment.
I love that. I'm an idiot. I probably left something out. You get the last word. What do you want to share? What do you want to share with the audience that we didn't cover?
I don't want to share anything. I want to know, are you happy?
Oh my gosh. I have written my epitaph and I hope to live up to this. And I think it's true right now.
Uh-huh.
A happier man never lived. I'm so happy. From the moment I wake up, we had bacon and eggs this morning. It's Thursday morning. And I told the boys, no one's richer than we are. Today, we are rich. We're full, music playing, dancing, really challenging work,
Yeah.
working as a team to overcome challenges, to serve our customers,
Mhm.
and navigate bureaucracy like you couldn't imagine,
Mhm.
tied like a knot, untying knots. Can't wait to go home, have a beautiful dinner with the family, wrestle with my boys until bedtime.
Yeah.
I couldn't, similar to you, there are so many areas of my life, in fact, every area, I'm working on getting better. Finding the resources to get better
Mm-hmm.
is exciting. Consuming those resources to get better is exciting
And enjoyable.
and enjoyable. Putting it into practice and failing and iterating is exciting. And then looking in the rearview mirror and realizing, oh my gosh, I've made some progress here is really amazing.
Yeah.
We can never judge. A mentor told me this, and it's had the most profound impact on me. We can't look forward to judge progress. We can only look backwards to judge progress. Where have we come from? Not where are we going? Where do we want to be? Blah, blah, blah. Where were we? Where are we now? That's the only way. And when I look back, I think that a fool like me could be sitting here in my life with a wife like I have, with children like I have, in a job that I have. It's unfathomable. My high school self wouldn't recognize me, and I love that. And I hope my 60-year-old self thinks the same.
Right? Like there's just, life is so beautiful. Same as you. I hope that 30 years from now, I'm a totally different person in all better ways, right? Like, I want to be a lifelong learner. And I thank people like you for putting out podcasts like this to help us all be lifelong learners.
One step at a time. Mary Azar, you are helping me. You're helping the community. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. See ya. Hey, my friends, I've got my new book out, and I want you to experience it. You can do it two ways. One, you go to Amazon right now, search Fulfillment Project. You get a hardcover or a soft cover. Reflections on each episode from season 1 of Fulfillment Project. A beautiful summary, key quotes, and then room to journal. If you want to start journaling and you don't quite know how, this is a great way to start. It makes a great coffee table book. I was intentional about making it as beautiful as a Neanderthal like me could make it. If you don't want to pay for it, go to substack.com right now. Subscribe to my Substack newsletter for free, and I will immediately send you an email with a free PDF download of the book so you can still participate with it that way. Thank you so much.